And just so that you know, there are no conflicts. Dr. Ramaya, thank you for having us. He is on our SAB. He's not an investor. So we'll get that off the table straight away. I am Joe Rafferty, the CEO of Best Tech. The Suture-Tight catheter is a novel device, comes preloaded with nitinol sutures. And in my conversations with Dr. Mahmoud Razavi today, his comment to me was, with the flexibility of this device, where would an interventionalist want to put a suture? Is what it comes down to. We're targeting initially the aortic repair space, and I'll get into that very quickly. Our roots really come from Phoenix and Dr. Dietrich's meeting. Our founders, John Udoga and Terry Richard, were here with Dr. Dietrich talking about the challenges that evolved with EVAR and TEVAR, migration, leaking, et cetera. Dr. Dietrich was so interested in their solution, he actually gave them a booth the next year to bring this technology and talk about it. They got me involved.
Oh, yeah?
I immediately called Dr. Ramaya and said, is this a true issue? Is it the fact that these EVAR grafts are migrating, they're leaking, TEVAR grafts migrating, leaking? And he said, you have no idea how big an issue it is. A conversation came up, yes, but you got to understand what we're doing with FEVAR and BVAR. So my next call was to Dr. Hahn at USC. And I said, well, why would you be interested in getting involved with us? He said, because I'll spend 8 hours putting in branched and fenestrated, and then months later I'm coming back and I'm building up, I'm putting cuffs in the proximal portion of those grafts because they've created type 1A endoleaks. So the physician spoke and said, there's a problem. The peer-reviewed literature, we've heard about it for the last 2 days, is documenting that there's an issue. Michel Renyan is the PI for the Medtronic anchor and large diameter graft trial. He's on our advisory board. I said to him, what is it that makes you interested in what we're doing? He said, because we've been doing the same thing for 25 years, and we've got migration, we've got leaks, and we're not bringing anything new to the table. So you know this story, 80% of the procedures, the EVAR procedures, are done endovascularly, AAA procedures done endovascularly. Open surgical repair is the standard of care. We've created a hybrid procedure. We've got a handle, we can expand what's called the biasing mesh. The biasing mesh opens up. We've got 4 sutures preloaded in that distal section of the catheter, and we literally pull those sutures down just like a surgeon holding on to that SH needle, and we're literally pulling those sutures down into the window. We're going through the graft, through and through the adventitia, and back on itself. Very fast, very efficient. I'll get to a case report in a minute. This is very attractive to clinicians in that if they don't like the location and they haven't released the suture can be retracted, repositioned, and delivered where you want it. Very straightforward, very easy to use. And 3 new patents. We use Cooley. 3 new patents, and there are DRGs and CPT codes, both for the initial implant and for the repair. Very interesting case. It was an animal study. Dr. Yamanuchi, this is a Gore cuff. We asked him to put, this is the first time he used the device, so talk about easy to use. We asked him to put the first sutures up at the top of the cuff as if you're implanting an EVAR up in the proximal neck. Then his comment was, I'm going to position the next sutures in the gaps between the stent struts just to demonstrate how precise I can be. And then just to prove that it wasn't a fluke, he did it again. So it's very easy, very precise, and manifestation here. 14 cases, 8 different clinicians. You'll notice in the SAB member there's a little block where there's 2 cases that we didn't have an SAB member. Vinky wasn't allowed out of the country. They kept him here, so Professor Kriegman's had to do it himself. We've got sacs that are stable or shrinking. Very fast, no embolization, no migrations. It's all working quite well. Canada, Latvia, and Australia. You know who these people are. They are the who's who around the country, very excited about what we're doing. So to your point, are physicians interested in what we're doing? The answer is yeah, around the world. Where do you want to deliver an endovascular suture? Perivalvular leak for TEVAR. We talked a number of times today about venous grafts migrating. Obviously, EVAR, TEVAR, the descending margin of those thoracic grafts. First case is down in Australia, Dr. Shannon Thomas. First case, 4 sutures, 4 minutes, mic drop. The next case, this one was a little bit more complex, iliac tortuosity in the neck, 12 minutes, 4 sutures, and he changed cannulation. He went from right to left for 2 on the right, 2 on the left. And you can see how easy they are to see. Physicians tell us they'll probably put 8 sutures in. This is 4. Each suture is a pair of sutures. And you can see through and through, just like you would be suturing a graft. We've got a device that can deliver multiple sutures at once. Our SAB said, no, we want to deliver 1 suture at a time so we can be very precise. We've got a delivery system that also will allow you to deliver the graft and sutures at one time. We've got a type 1A endoleak model. You can see over there on the right where we've closed that endoleak off with just a couple of sutures. We put a tube in between a cuff and the aorta. Patty, this one's for you. You motivated this last year, Dr. Thorpe. This is an iliac vein in a cadaver model down in Miramar. A wall stent. We didn't have another nitinol stent, but you can see we've put sutures in the iliac vein for May Thurners. So it is very easy to use. Sutures are preloaded. It was designed by physicians to answer these clinical challenges. We'll list it for $3,500. Hospitals will beat us up. We'll sell it for $2,500. And we've got a cost of goods and parts at about 15%. So there's a very nice gross margin. And again, what's the definition of insanity? We've been doing the same thing for many years, and we need to improve the durability of the procedure. Make sense?
Good, yes. Great.
Questions?
Goes through calcified arteries?
I'm sorry?
Does this go through the calcific arteries? Calcium, there's a lot of calcium.
Well, we have a number of patents on different suture designs. So we're not going to recommend a graft's off-label indications. The great part about our device, you saw where we retracted the suture. So if you had that suture in your hand and you were probing and you felt the calcium, you could pull it back and move it. So that's one of the nice flexibilities. There's another device that delivers 8 sutures at once. And if 5 sutures go in but 3 hit calcium, you're in trouble. So that's why physicians, our SAB said, let us do 1 pair of sutures at a time, so if we do have to move it, we can.
Can you put it in the renal vein? Because this, certainly could solve the problem of nutcracker stenting.
Dr. Razavi today brought that up, yes. And we're gonna look at that because it is small.
Was it his idea?
Well, he reminded me that it's a good indication. Yeah. Yeah. So yes, we are.
Question, what's the advantage of this over the stapling or anchor device?
This device, because it comes preloaded with 4 sutures, it's single insertion, 4 pair of sutures, very fast. The other device, the corkscrew, kudos to Medtronic. They were brave enough to bring it to market. It is a hernia mesh tack that was repurposed for aorta. If you don't have that device absolutely perpendicular to the wall, you're not going to get to the adventitia. By by delivery, by nature of our device, going through and through, you're going to get purchase and through purchase of the adventitia with our device. Because you don't have to load and reload each time you want to deliver the corkscrew, it's much faster and much more precise.
Yeah,
With the pricing, is the price comparable also between this device and the angle?
Will be a lot less.
yeah.
We-
Dr. Babu, regarding your questions, calcium and not, because it's nitinol and it's pretty hard. You can get through some of the areas, not fully calcified, but definitely some calcium it will go through, and it has 2 needles. And it's pretty force-wise. Its design is such that it comes very close to the wall because of the mesh on the other side. So pushability is quite precise, and it moves in the direction and changes the shape as it goes in. So that way it's very secure.
Yeah, we've got some cadaveric models, if you will, that we've used. I'll call it the cornflake calcium versus rock calcium. We've gone through the cornflakes very easily.
Okay.
So
Great. This is a PMA, I would guess? Or?
the great news is it's a 510K. We've had 5 pre-sub meetings with FDA. They know what we're doing. They've seen our IDE. They only want 100 patients, and they only want 12 months. It's a 30-day safety with a 12-month follow-up.
And what's a predicate device?
Is the Aptus device, the corkscrew.
What's the sheet that it goes through?
It is 16 French. We'll have it down to 14 probably by market time. It goes really nicely through an 18. Some of these cases that we've done, very tortuous iliacs and very tortuous or angulated necks, and it's tracked very well through the 18. We put it in the 16 in that tortuous anatomy, and it can be create a little friction.
Great, thank you.
Very good.
Thank you so much.